Hello, hello, and welcome to this virtual book launch party for Cathay Retta. I want to invite you to, I'm Sarah Brown. I'm a friend of Cathay's, and I'm going to be your master of ceremonies tonight. I want to invite you to get a festive glass while we're waiting for people to join so that we can toast Cathay at the end and celebrate this great achievement. And we'll get started in just a couple of minutes, but we'll give everybody time to grab their beverage of choice and get situated, and then we will get started with the festivities. It's a beautiful evening on the East Coast where I'm located. It's finally cooled down. So wherever you are located and whatever time of day it is for you, it's happy hour. So
Yeah, yes.
Where are you on the East Coast?
I am in Wilmington, Delaware, which is about halfway between Washington and New York. So to get this happy hour going, you know what, Anna Maria?
Yes.
Where is Cathay? How are we going to do a party without the guest of honor?
I know. Where is she? Hold on, I see her name, but where is she's normally here on time?
Oh my goodness, how are we going to do this if we don't even have the guest of honor?
Cathay, where are you?
Cathay, Cathay.
Are you
Cathay.
on mute? I'm usually late for things, so.
I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm sorry I'm running late. It's a long trip down that hallway is a bit much. So let me put away my gear. And thank you all for being here for this Camino journey with me, hearing about my book and getting it launched today on my 71st birthday. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
I'll be that.
Happy
I
birthday.
don't need this today, but do you know how wonderful it is to have a buff? If you're hiking like 30 days or more, you don't have to worry about your hair for all that time. So what a great deal. So there's other great deals and learning experiences with being on the Camino or a hike like that. And I'm happy to share with you about it now.
So Cathay, are you live and in person now?
I am here. I am
Yes.
here. Oh, and it's exciting to see all of your faces.
That was cute.
It's great that we now have the guest of honor here. A little bit about what we're going to do tonight. We're going to do an interview with Cathay about the book. It'll give you an introduction to the book, but it'll also be something that Cathay can use to market the book and after its re-release going forward. And then, like in any good book signing party or book launch party, we're going to let her read an excerpt from her book.
Good.
And we'll give you an opportunity to ask questions about her and give her some tributes, and then we will toast her and let her have the final word. So that will be our agenda for tonight. Again, my name is Sarah Brown, and I am a friend of Cathay's. And Anna Maria who's also a colleague of Cathay's. Anna Maria, you want to wave? She's going to be assisting and managing the logistics for tonight. So, or this afternoon, depending on where you are. So I'm really excited about this. You can see I've got my Camino t-shirt on. And Cathay, I think you've got your Camino t-shirt on.
Yes.
All right. Shall we start off and talk about the re-release of the book?
Absolutely. Yes.
So
Yeah.
we're here today with Cathay Retta, who has just re-released her book, Keep Walking, Your Heart Will Catch Up. Congratulations. It's a big deal to write a book. It's a big deal to re-release it. So congratulations on that.
Thanks, Sarah. Yeah.
Why don't we start by telling people a little bit about what the Camino is?
Yeah, and it's a big deal to walk the Camino, which I did in 2019. And I know you've walked it twice, Sarah, different parts of it. And so that Camino, it's a pilgrimage trail across Spain. Actually, there's several different ones that people can take, but they all end in Santiago de Compostela, a city where they believe the remains of Jesus' disciple James is buried there. And so a lot of people do it as a pilgrimage. Some people walk it just as a good hike or for a number of other reasons. But the French Way, which is the one most often walked, is 483 miles across Spain. So it's quite a little trek. And yeah. um, so that's kind of what it's about.
And why did you want to walk the Camino?
You know, my husband died in 2016, and it was during that time I heard about the Camino. A couple of friends were going to walk it, and I thought, oh, that sounds exciting. And didn't give it another thought, but it wouldn't leave the back of my mind, and I kept thinking about it. So it was a couple years after David had passed, and I was really thinking about, what do I do now? I was 30 single for about 30 years and married 33 years. And so what do I do with my next 30 years? And I thought, oh, I'll walk the Camino and that'll give me some time and space without distractions to figure out my next 30 years. Because what do? You get up in the morning and you walk. You eat, you get to where you're stopping and you go to sleep. You get up and you walk for 30 some days. So I'll have plenty of time to think and plan. It didn't work out that way. It had a surprise for me. So my plan was to go so I could plan my life out. What happened the first night, I was in an old 13th century church in the Pyrenees Mountains. It was dimly lit, soft music playing. I'm sitting on a hard bench and I start tearing up. Oh, and then inside, I hear this in my spirit, I hear the word absolution. That's not why I'm here. I know that's what some people do it for. The Catholic Church offers that forgiveness for people who walk it, but I don't need that. And that voice came back to me. Yes, you do. You need absolution to yourself from yourself. Whoa. So that kind of set the stage as I cried across Spain for 30 some days.
Well, I didn't walk for 30 days. I walked for 2 weeks, but I went with a similar quest, was to get the plan for the next phase of my life. And I didn't come out with a plan either, but I did have a lot of similar epiphanies, so to speak. So I understand what you're talking about. And so why did you want to write a book about it?
There was a couple things. One, I'd always wanted to be an author. Since I was a little girl, I was writing stories but never published or did anything much with it. And so part of this journey was uncovering myself and my true desires and being true to that. And then I also realized the experience is something that would benefit a lot of people because it was a journey of rediscovering self and kind of breaking down these walls and the shell around myself and getting to find out who I am and be able to go after those dreams. And I realized that's not just me. There's a lot of people, and I've talked with a lot of people who struggle with that. And I think there's something they can learn from this journey. And so I wrote it so I could share it with others. And I think one thing about a book like this is you can follow along and read someone else's story and you're not intimidated, you're not being confronted. It's not someone telling you, you should do this or that, but you're reading, oh, she did this, she did that. And you can kind of take it in and deal with it in your own life if whatever parts apply. So that was a big motivation for writing it.
Well, one of the things you did beautifully in the book was to paint a really good picture of what a day is like when you're walking the Camino, what a day is like, spending all of the time caring for your feet. You have no idea how much time you spend caring for your feet when you're doing something like this. What it's like to meet the different people that you met along the way. You just had beautiful descriptions of all of that.
Thanks. You know, that's one of the things, feet, that's the main topic on the trail. So the year I walked, there were 300,000 people from around the world who walked some part of the trail that year. And so you're
Wow.
meeting everyone from all over. And it's very structured where there's hostels, we call them albergues, where you stay in at night. And so you get checked in and everyone's around looking at their feet, doctoring their feet, talking about how they avoided these blisters. It's kind of a common bond, but it's also a common bond that you're all going to the same place, maybe for different reasons, different experiences, but it brings you together in this communal family.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Unlike what you do for a living, your icebreaker is something about feet, so, yes. So,
Yes.
so this is a re-release, and why did you want to re-release the book?
You know, what really started it was I thought it would make a great movie. And so I wanted to have a movie made out of it. And I had a consult with someone who is a screenwriter and does it have any potential? And she says, yeah, I can see it's a good story. I can see it. It needs a little more filled in. I understand the story is about you finding yourself, but I want to know, how did you lose yourself? Oh, well, you know, I didn't talk about that. And so that kind of got me going. And so I was kind of thinking along those lines. And then I did come to a place where we are working on a movie with Voyage Media and a wonderful movie producer, Killian Belly, who I believe is online today, embraced the movie and the vision for it. And she's working on it. And she brought on board a script writer, Emily Schmidt. And they met with me and we kind of crafted out some things. And I could see there were some holes in it to really pull it together to have a full understanding of the story. So I decided, okay, I'm going to redo this and really do a better job with it. And part of doing a better job with it means getting an editor to help with it. When I first published it, I didn't have an editor. And so I worked with Whitney Back, who I think is going to try to join us today also. She really tore in there and she didn't let me get away with just skipping over little things. And she really helped to pull out that deeper story that I had left out of it along the way. And I think it makes it a better book. And it's a learning experience too. One example I can give, early on in that first week, I walked up this hill of forgiveness. And I write about it in the first version, and there, you know, I didn't realize I didn't forgive David, but I needed to. So I forgave David for dying and leaving me. And then I went on and felt lighter and went down the hill. And Whitney comes back and says, well, but wait. Tell me about that. You can't do that to your readers. You can't just hit them with something, and they need time to sit there with you as you grapple with that and realize what's going on. You need to describe that and give them room to let it permeate and grow with you in the experience. So I rewrote what was 2 paragraphs turned into a page, you know, and it started out with, I lied, David. I said I'd be okay, but I'm not. And I'm mad, and that sort of thing. Really coming to grips and telling the truth, because too often me, like I think most people, we try to just skip over things and just be light about it, but we don't give the true picture and the depth of our lives.
So what message would you give your prospective readers about the book?
My hope is that they would find hope in it, whatever situation they're in. One, to first know they're not too old. You know, I was 64 when I went on this, and I'd had a sedentary life. I wasn't a hiker, and I did this. And so there's always hope. There's always a way. And I think that often starts with getting honest with yourself, really getting to know yourself, and to, yeah, just be willing to look at those serious issues and not brush them over and suppress everything. And that's where a walk like the Camino gives you time and space to do that. I'm sure you don't have to walk to Spain to do it, but if you'll, you know, take those principles and just really learn to love yourself and to give yourself room, that's what I hope people would get out of it.
And so for all of you watching, I highly commend the book, Keep Walking, Your Heart Will Catch Up by Cathay Reta. It's a great listen. I listened to it. I was probably the beta listener on it, but I listened to it for all last week, and it was just a really a great story. So, Cathay, do you have a sample to read for us?
I do. Let me put my glasses on here. I pulled out a couple of things. They say the Camino, like there's three parts to it. There's a physical element, certainly, then there's spiritual, and there's also soulical. So let me read a brief bit from, let me find it here. This is day 2. So way near the beginning. So I walk alone, often passed by other pilgrims. The sun is high in the sky and wearing me down. I laugh at myself as I recall a scene from my hiking practice where I regularly walked a 3-mile trail around Bixler Lake. One day, an old man was walking in the distance ahead of me. He was unsteady and wavered side to side. I was certain he was about to fall over, so I quickened my pace to catch up and help. When I finally reached him, I learned that the 74-year-old man made this walk every day to stay in shape, and he was probably in better shape than me. And as I journey now, on an empty stomach and with little shade, I walk like I saw him walk, unsteady, staggering side to side. I feel like I will fall over at any moment. What a sight I must be. Though I started the day concerned about my Achilles tendon, every other part of my short little legs is now screaming for my attention. Knees, thighs, calves, ankles, hips. The road is a constant, long, slow ascent and descent, ascent and descent. The hills just don't end, and I am in pain. That was day 2.
28 more to go.
Yeah. And so as we go over here, I'm like starting the 3rd week. And that's, yeah, and well, things are coming along. So I go to the town square for my morning coffee and sit at an outside table to write in my journal. There are only a few other people around. The square is mostly empty. I'm hopeful this time will lead to some answers, some clue as to what I'm supposed to discover on the Camino. I sit in silence, almost afraid to ask, afraid to know. Tears well up, but I fight them back. I can't sit and cry in a public place. I've never been one to cry in public. If I need to cry, I find a private place to do so. So as I go along, I'm writing. As I sit at the shaded table, I'm soothed by the morning calm, and the word penance comes to mind. In fact, it's crossed my mind a few times. Certainly no one would do this walk except as penance, as a type of punishment. I search an online dictionary for its definition. Voluntary self-punishment inflicted as an outward expression of repentance. Putting that together with my insights about absolution on my first day back in Roncesvalles, I start to gain some clarity. This Camino brings forth a physical struggle to match the inner breaking of the heart and of the soul. I think it gives depth and tangibility to what's felt inside. The physical challenge is drawing emotional pain to my conscious mind, so I may become aware of it, see it, and name it, and absolve it. And there it is, absolution. Too often we try to just handle everything in the mind, detached, untouched, uninvolved. But the power of transformation comes when the flow of life and pain seep through the cracks, when the physical touches the soul. Those emotions express in the physical and present themselves to the mind. The mind is the observer, taking it all in, and we begin to understand. Ah, I think, that's the Camino. It's the beginning of understanding. It's letting go and accepting. It's an unfolding of healing, of truth, of community.
That was awesome.
So I'll share one more, moving on over to the last day. I will say on the French Way Trail, the last 60 miles is often joined by others who are walking the minimal amount of miles that you can receive the certificate, the Compostela. So it gets a lot more crowded. So here's something on that day. So it's day 35, Lavacola to Santiago de Compostela, 8 miles. My last day, say it isn't so. By 8 o'clock, I'm on the road, the crowded road. Oh, how I missed my quiet time. I'm especially resentful when one man teases me as he passes by, saying that it will take me 2 days to get to Santiago at the rate I'm walking. Andale, step it up, he says as he laughs, moving swiftly down the road surrounded by his children. You don't know me. You know nothing about what I've done, where I've come from. I began this journey almost 500 miles ago. You probably just jumped on the road a couple of days ago. You don't know what I've been through to get here. You don't know how badly my feet hurt. You have no right to say anything to me about the pace I'm walking. This is my Camino, not yours. Yes, that's my response in my head. I wish I would have said this aloud, but it's taken me half an hour to think of that comeback. And the man is long gone now. The gnarly look I gave him will have to be enough. I continue to think about our silent exchange as I walk on down the road. Who does know another person's journey? Who really knows what someone else has been through? What challenges, fears, experiences they face? It's easy to jump in and comment on what we see, but we see only an exterior. We don't see the inside of a person. That comes when we've developed a relationship of trust, when someone has shared themselves with us and us with them. I hope this moment will be seared in my memory as a lesson to not judge. I don't know what another person's Camino journey has been. Mine has been a roller coaster. It has shaken me, beaten me to tears, forced me to excavate dreams and hopes. Dreams and hopes I buried long ago. It made me realize that I stopped wanting anything from life because it was easier to not want than to not get. I became numb. And as I near Santiago, strangely, I feel that numbing of my senses. To be continued.